It is now 5:41, and I bring this Charter Review Commission meeting to order. I would like for us to pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to have silent meditation. Amen. May I have a roll call, please?
Pastor Morrison.
Yes, here.
Ms. Perez.
Your mic,
Ms. Bradford.
your mic, your mic.
Mr. Meyer.
Here.
Mr. Myers. Ms. Sheehan.
Here.
Ms. Quinones.
Here.
Mr. Rivera. Ms. Melendez.
Here.
Mr. Grubb. Mr. Mejia. That is 6 present, 4 absent. That is not enough for a quorum.
Have we checked Zoom? Do we have anybody on Zoom?
Okay, I believe we're going to wait for Sheila in order to have a quorum. And we would be able to at least look at what our public comment. Let's look at the public comment. Is there any public comment? No. Okay. Okay, then I will close the public comment, and then we will look at opening remarks of the chair. I would like to take this time for Ed Stock, our solicitor, to talk to us about the Sunshine Act.
Okay, the Sunshine Act, officially known as the Public Meetings Law, requires public or official action to be taken in public at a duly convened meeting. So deliberations that lead to action need to be conducted in public. There are several exceptions that permit executive sessions for purposes of discussing a topic, but the action on those topics must take place in public. So you can have an executive session to discuss if you're involved in labor negotiations with a union, litigation, personnel matters can all be discussed in executive session, but any action to be taken on those matters must be taken in public. The law also requires that the agenda for the meeting be posted 24 hours in advance of the meeting. And generally, it requires that only items that are listed on the agenda can have action taken. You know, the intent being that a public body doesn't sneak in a vote on something that ostensibly the public doesn't know about because it's not on an agenda. There are a couple of relatively minor exceptions to that agenda issue. I mean, if an emergency comes up between the posting of the agenda and the public meeting, you can take action on an emergency. Certain de minimis actions can be taken. But generally, and you've heard me say this before, in past meetings, generally any official action can only be taken on an item that's listed on the agenda. There are consequences for violating the Sunshine Act, including criminal charges, monetary sanctions. So, you know, it's not a law to be taken lightly or ignored. But generally, its intent is to make public bodies do their business, with some exceptions, as I mentioned, but generally requires public bodies to take their action in public.
Okay, is there any questions for the Sunshine Act? Any
Yeah,
questions?
the last, you know, just sort of, if this is the reason why I'm being asked to address it, you'll notice the last two meetings, we didn't have a quorum, so there was no official action taken at those meetings.
Mhm.
So, let me see. Let me see if I understand. They doing meetings when it's not quorum. No, they don't take actions. They can be just a meeting.
Yeah, essentially, when you don't have a quorum and therefore no duly constituted meeting, you can't take official action. Doesn't mean you can't sit and, you know, like the last two meetings have been primarily to review lists of questions. So there was, you know, that didn't constitute any kind of official action.
So the quorum here is 5+1, right?
No, the quorum is actually 7. You voted as a body, I believe, at either the first or second meeting to establish 7 as the quorum. Now, you know, you could, it's not listed on the agenda for tonight, but you could decide that you want to revisit the quorum number, and we could add it to an agenda for the next meeting, and you could decide if you wish to change the number for the quorum. I mean, we're currently, the commission constitutes 11 members. There's a vacancy due to a resignation. 2 of the members, well, one hasn't appeared at all, and one other one was only here, I believe, for the first meeting. So you're sort of down 3 members right off the bat. So when you have essentially 8 members that are functioning and you have a quorum of 7, that doesn't permit too many people to be absent from a meeting.
Do we have any information about the 2 people who have not shown up and whether we've,
I
on
spoke.
the 1 vacancy?
Yes, I do have that information. I spoke to Jamie Baez, Councilman Jamie Baez, and his person, Mr. Mejia, he said he was only here for just 1 meeting per month. So I asked him to please come back, and if he can only be here for 1 meeting, okay. But it's going to have to be a meeting in which he really understands everything that we're doing. The other person that I did speak to is Councilman Melissa Ventura. And she's not sure where that other person is, Mr. Grubb. And so she wanted to get in touch with him. She called him. She could not get in touch with him. So I asked him if you can take a week to get it together so that we need either to have it a full representation, or if we need to look at revisiting our quorum. Okay, and since we have 8 members, it would be 5. So, you know, that's something that we can put on the agenda for next week and then revisit it again. And would give them an opportunity to try to find someone.
What about the vacancy position?
The vacancy, I believe it's getting ready to be fulfilled. but I'm not sure, so
Who was
the
that?
mayor is responsible for that. Okay, any other question?
Yes. Mr. Stock, you mentioned that nothing was done on the 16th that mattered, but I received an email with enclosed here within are some draft proposed amendments to the charter. These issues were discussed on the 16th and are being presented to you for review and comment. I believe this to be a serious matter that was discussed during a meeting that did not have quorum.
No, there was, we were here. And whatever that email was, I don't know who sent it to you, but there was nothing, the only thing we identified. So who sent you the email? I did. Oh, Ed, okay. Well, let Ed answer that.
Well, in the discussion that occurred on the 16th, there was discussion about boards, authorities, and commissions. And I said I volunteered that, based on what I heard in the informal discussion, that I would put some language together for further consideration by the group at a duly called and constituted meeting. That's all it was.
Okay.
I understand that, but naming it further discussion implies that original discussion already happened. Here's my concern. We agreed as a group that we were going to take certain steps. We're going to talk to staff members. We were going to talk to the residents. We were going to gather information. And as a group, we were going to propose amendments to the charter. And somehow that all got skipped. And in a meeting where there were 4 people, these got written down. And I have issue with that. I take issue with that.
And I do too, because that's not what we were looking at. Ed, was that your,
It was what was talked about.
that's all we did. Okay, so Ed, what would you say about that at this time? I would like Ed to respond. Yes, just a minute, Sheila. Ed, please respond.
I mean, if you noticed, circulated the last 2 weeks have been what I put together. I just call them informal notes to provide some documentation of what discussion did occur. It was not anything official, and certainly the circulation of that proposed language is simply me attempting to put something together for consideration by this group. That's all it was.
And nothing.
I mean, it wasn't, it
No,
wasn't like I did it
Sheila,
on
you
my
can't.
own. I mean, it was, I said I would be doing it.
I didn't say that it was done on your own. I'm saying that it was actually in fact discussed. And we just talked about the Sunshine Act, where these things cannot have a discussion, a plentiful discussion, to then be brought up to the group to then say, okay, let's discuss it further. That's my issue with it. It feels from my point of view that it was a moment of, oh, nobody's here, let's just get this done. And that's how it looks from my perspective.
How can you say that?
Okay.
How can you say that when I circulated and said for further discussion? I mean, it wasn't done behind anybody's back.
No
I
way,
mean, I
no
take
way.
exception to that, Tanya.
Okay, I apologize for the way I phrased it. I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry.
Seems like you're looking to pick a fight with me on this. All I did was follow up with what I heard discussed at a meeting that wasn't a meeting.
So
I mean,
let-
I'm
th-
not
no-
looking to pick
nothing
a
was
fight
voted
with you.
on. Those items are on the table for whatever further consideration you want to give as a group. That's all it was. But, we're here now 8 meetings into this with nothing happening.
Right. because
So I frankly thought it was an idea that was warranted to put something on paper so the group at least had something concrete to look at.
That's perfectly reasonable, but we had agreed before the 16th that we were going to follow these steps. And then we didn't, and that's my issue.
I know, but the last 2 meetings, there wasn't a quorum. So, it was, I'm following the lead of the chair. you have two options if you don't have a quorum. Either everybody goes home or there's conversation. And conversation ensued, but it was nothing official, nothing done behind anybody's back. I mean, if it was being done behind your back, you wouldn't have seen the things.
Can I ask, I know you want to speak, Sheila, and I know Dee would like to speak, and anyone else, Dave. I want us to take a deep breath. I really mean it. And let us take a deep breath so that we can cleanse this, so we can continue to work together without any type of conflict. We don't have to have a conflict. We've been working very well together, even though we have had a lot of obstacles throughout the entire, in every way, we've had many obstacles. So now I just want us to take a deep cleansing breath and be able to move forward, and then we can talk very civilly, and then we can move forward, okay? So let's just take a deep breath. And just center ourselves so that we can really move forward, okay? Now, I know, Sheila, you wanted to speak, and then Dee and Dave, okay? Go ahead.
We only have 6 months. I can't even turn it on because it is a battery. Thank you. We only have 6 months. So we didn't feel the need that if we didn't have quorum, we weren't going to waste those 2 weeks.
Okay.
We didn't want to waste those meetings. So we continued the discussions, and there was not formal. It was nothing formal. It was just discussions. We put stuff on paper, and Ed very graciously circulated it to everybody. Nothing is set in stone for people's feelings to be heard. That's not what we're here for. We're here for a goal. And originally, when we first started this initiative, I said, let's meet twice a week for the first 2 months, because there's a lot of work to be done, and there's holidays coming, and there's people are taking time off. Just the past 2 weeks, we didn't even have quorum because people had other activities. We still have
Yeah.
to move forward.
Yeah, if
So
I-
the fact that we did it, but we never, like Ed said, if we wanted to do it behind your back, you wouldn't have gotten the informal notes.
No,
let
And
me-
the informal
if-
notes are there as a guide. This was what was discussed, nothing set in stone.
Yeah.
And we take it from there.
and wait,
The
Dave,
last
hold
2
on, hold
meetings
on, Dave.
were we got a lot of discussions.
Mhm.
They were great meetings, great meetings. If you weren't present, I can't be present in all of them. And I'm not going to take issue with that. All right?
If
I-
I can, because I think the process is important here. What happened was we had a discussion very generally about some issues. Ed went back and drafted that language and shared it with us. There was no discussion about it at a meeting. There was no vote on him at a meeting. It was just simply, he was trying to put in language that was responsive to issues that we had raised earlier. So I don't think there was a formal motion on it. There was no formal
No,
discussion about
wasn't.
them. It was just at the end of the meeting, I think you presented them to us. So, I understand why you're concerned, Tanya, you weren't here. So it's reasonable to raise the question, but I think the process of, I think I have the process right.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dave, for quarterbacking that.
Sure.
Okay. And now I'd like to hear from Dee.
My only comment is that I'm really appreciative of you reviewing the law, because the number of emails I continue to receive from people trying to explain it who don't fully understand it comes across to me as if there's a belief that if there is no quorum, there is no meeting. And I just want to center there, because when we don't have a quorum, we actually get a lot of work done in going through the grassroots conversations, the whys, the whats, all of the questions that need to be asked, which we don't typically do when we're trying to make decisions. So I think they were time well spent. And I'm very glad that you went over the law, and I hope it's understood that meetings will happen if there's no
Mhm.
quorum. We simply cannot make decisions.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone else? The other thing, I wanted us to review what the informal notes so that we can move forward in the discussion of them. Ed, do you mind? He'll be able to roll over them and it won't take long, okay? So then everyone will be on the same page. Yes, thank you.
If you look at the informal notes that I prepared for the non-meeting that happened on October 16, there was just a review of the charter, Article 2. There was discussion concerning Section 2 of this 07 of the charter and filling a vacancy in office, which I can address. There was a discussion regarding Section 1002C of the charter. And there was discussion about Section 209. And then I write the solicitor was directed to prepare some proposed language to follow this discussion, which is what I did.
Mhm.
And then if you look at the notes from the meeting, the non-meeting last week, the three members who were present just went over the list of questions that had been prepared by Mr. Myers and Ms. Perez. And those, if you look at the October 16 notes, those questions had been reviewed at the time on October 16 by the members of the commission who were present on October 16th as well.
Thank you very much, Ed. Is there any other questions at this point? Can we,
And
can-
one last thing, when we were going over the questions, what we did was go over the questions and strike out what was duplicates. But we didn't set in stone which questions we were gonna interview, which questions, that's up to the group, the commissioners to do.
thank you very much. Okay, if we can now move forward. Okay. Can you pass it down? Thank you so much. Okay, very good. Thank you for the informal note-taking. Yeah, that really
I
wrapped
appreciate
it
that.
up, yeah. Okay, now what you're about to be, we do have a quorum, so we do have a quorum. I would like this to be put on the meeting for next week. It is the Charter Review Survey. And I would like all of you to comment on that.
The survey from 2019.
Yes, survey from 2019. And I really think that it was well situated then, but if you have any updates or changes, please look at that. So that's for next week, because we want to roll out. Yes, okay. And we want to roll out that and get ready for the distribution, okay? Many of you have constituents, organizations, people that we want to get it out to, and especially the grassroots community. That's the most important thing at this point. So that if we have to go to interview people from door to door, some of us are very ready to do that, you know, so that we can get the numbers in that is necessary. Not everybody would want to do that, but there's some of us that are committed to get that. So let's refer to that next week. And please make sure you have all your questions or any,
So we should add questions.
yes,
change
please,
questions.
And make sure that we're not too intense because we're dealing with the grassroots people,
Should
okay?
we try to identify the populations that we're trying to get to? so that we
You
have
can
some
do
idea?
that, yes, you surely may. And then that way we'll be able to bring that together and say, look at the populations that we're going to distribute, okay? So please do that.
It would be good to know, what we're trying to get to. What are we trying to get to in terms of a number of survey responses? Do we have any idea?
Well, we always want 10%. 10%, now
of the city?
that's pretty aggressive.
Yep,
That's pretty
That's 1,000.
aggressive.
1,000 people.
But if we get, what, 1,000?
1,000 is a good response. 10,000 is a terrific response.
Yeah.
That's hard.
There's 11 there are 10 of us. And if you choose to do that, get them out to your people, get them out to your constituents, and then we'll make sure that they are going to be included.
Should we
And
ask other
so-
people to get it out to them as well?
And make a list of the areas you want to make sure you can cover,
Okay.
okay? In the 2018, 2019, and also in the 2013, 14, there was a list. And we had some issues with it because the list was very finite,
Mhm.
okay? So we want to make sure that we're dealing with grassroots people, our
No, I think,
citizens.
I
right?
understand that. I appreciate that. I just think it's important for us to identify who we're getting them to and who we're using as the agents of
Very
getting them
good,
out.
Dave. Yeah, yeah. So it's a well-established
Exactly.
demographic. Yes, Anne.
What about the survey questions that we had, I thought we had agreed on several meetings ago? And when is this survey going to happen? Because
Okay,
it's the end of October and we
Mhm.
have till the end of February.
yeah. I believe that if we look at the last 2 weeks of November, we would be able to get a nice group of surveys back.
So when's it going to happen?
So next week is our kickoff. And that's when we're going to decide where it goes. It's going to be established. And I would say the second week of November.
Okay, and what about all the questions that Tanya had worked on? And that I thought we had, I mean, I feel like I'm living in a mirage or something.
No, you're not.
Come to
You're
me.
not.
Weren't there, Tanya did a whole bunch of questions.
We,
That I
we,
thought
we
we had
took some
agreed
away,
on.
we added others,
And then
we
had
ended up
come
with
with
10.
Places to distribute the surveys. And I feel like I'm at the
May I
first
jump in?
meeting again.
All I wanted to do for you guys to review what was already done. If you choose to make the difference and you want to use what Tanya has set up, that's fine. I want you to integrate them, but I don't want a survey that's going to be long and drawn out.
May I?
Yes.
I don't think, at least I haven't voted to approve any surveys.
Right.
I haven't
None of us
voted to
have.
approve any
haven't
list
voted
of
on it.
questions. What I have seen are Tanya's ideas, which are good ideas, but I'd like to see everybody's ideas, not just Tanya's ideas. And I'm glad when we have this time, and perhaps if we can get to more meetings, I love that we can discuss this. But when we don't have a quorum, you're not a part of the conversation and your voices, I missed your voice because I need to hear everybody's opinion. So I'm looking forward to doing the work. I appreciate getting this survey. And my question is, there are only 3 questions here. What is the maximum number of questions we want to use? Is it 8, 10?
What would you,
Well,
what
My
would,
experience in this, we probably want no more than 12, maybe 10.
10 questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave, and when you say 10 questions, 12, are the first few kind of like statistical, like,
Demographic stuff?
yes,
probably.
first few, and then the last,
You want to get that in general, and then I think. it could be
right,
like
and
10
then we
specific
have some
questions or
data.
Up to 10 specific questions.
Now-
Okay,
now-
I agree that we can look at 10 questions. We are not in a position to do the demographics. We already know the demographics in
No,
the
no.
city.
This is the demographics of the people taking the
Right.
survey. For them to
Sure,
tell us
sure.
some demographic
Age,
information, their
gender.
age, their gender, where they live, which
Mhm.
neighborhood they live in.
Are they business
And
owners?
see, that's what I'm
Are they
saying, that's what
property
I'm
owners?
saying. Why?
Why not?
Well, I would love to hear
Tell
some
me
of the
why.
answers of why we want that information. If we
Yeah.
need it, we should ask for it, but why do we need it?
Because that way you're sure that you have attacked or you tackle with the areas that you need to tackle. In the past years, let's keep it real, let's be clear. We really never involved the constituents in the city.
I disagree
I'm
with you. I
keeping
was
that
on the
clear.
2013 Charter Review Commission, and I disagree with you.
Well, you may
Well.
disagree with me. I'm letting you know what I've seen. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm out there in the community all the time and I'm speaking to people and things aren't getting to them.
And we have
And
done.
in English and in Spanish, and I'm keeping it real,
Mhm.
okay? That's the first issue.
Mhm.
Secondly, I want us to be able, as a result of that, because we had no problems getting input from organizations that are developers and already set in here, and it's all the same organizations, same people all the time. Every time we have a review commission, you have no problems giving them the questions. We keep their input, but that's about it. The rest of the city is not included. What I did, because my goal is to do the outreach and education. So I've been speaking to the elderly, the people who lead the elderly buildings, the resident councils in the Reading Housing Authority. Denied birth, they said that if we wanted to get the survey to their people, we had to mail it to them.
Okay.
We couldn't go door to door
Mhm.
and we couldn't solicit. Maybe we might be able to set up a table down there so we can speak to them as they come down if they want to fill it out, but that's what I was told. As far
Okay.
as the resident councils, I had no problem speaking to them. They're willing to help out. And the presidents of each resident council has to be contacted so that they can we could be invited. We were invited to go to their resident council meetings to talk about the survey. So that way we can get input. And then after that meeting, we can get some surveys filled out.
Thank you, Sheila. And that's my issue. Did you have something?
Oh, yeah,
Tanya? Go ahead.
somebody to turn off their mic. Do it again. So first, it's not my survey, even though I wrote it originally, because we all discussed it and Dave added questions and Sheila sent a whole bunch of questions and we integrated them. I don't know if that was the day that you weren't here. It could have been. I don't remember the day. But we integrated them into a draft. Yes, because you said that this survey was. Okay,
Keep going.
my bad.
Keep going.
I'm literally like, oh, you were on the computer. That's what I was thinking. My bad. You weren't here physically, that's why. But we integrated them into 10 questions to then be brought up for discussion, which is fine. If nobody wants to use them and we want to use the other ones, that's great. My question is, who's going to compile the answers? Because we have here the suggestion of a SWOT analysis. So that requires open-ended questions. So they cannot be compiled by an Excel sheet. They have to be punched in by hand. So if we're looking for 1,000 responses, who is going to compile those responses and how are they going to be presented to the group?
I'm glad you asked, because we were hoping to pull in Alvernia so that we can get a statistical review. And those applications are very simply, we literally can have 5 students develop the time in which that they would be able to input the information, and those open-ended questions would have a qualification. And that way we will be able to not have to do that, any of us. But the most important thing, and to deal with your question, Sheila, or your concern, is that when we are able to get that together in terms of where do you want the surveys to go, where Vina wants the surveys to go, where Sheila, myself, you, we're all going to be able to have a number of community people, and especially community people. And we're saying, let's do the community people first, not organizations, because that's where we made our mistake in the other survey. And when we talk about if we would review where those surveys went to, you'll see that it was not necessarily the citizens, okay, as much as it was organizations. So that's what we want to do to make sure that the citizens, and the only thing I want to see in terms of the demographics is that they live in Reading. That should be the only demographic that we need to worry about, that not only that they live in Reading, but they have a concern in Reading. Now, if you want a demographic, then, all right, we can have 2 or 3
Yeah,
questions.
I think you do need to have the demographics. You want to make sure that you get a response that looks at least somewhat like the community. And you're
Do
not
you-
going to be able to tell that if all you got is, this is the neighborhood they live in.
Do you know that the census already has done that?
Yes, the census has done that, but we're not doing the census. We're doing a survey.
But
of
we
people.
did do the census, and that's why the documentation is already there. you know. That's
who-
fine, that's fine.
Yeah, the census was 5 years ago.
Because when we look,
Population might be different, and it's important to get people's opinions and who they are, some sense of who they are. So, I don't think it has to be, a lot of detailed stuff in demographics, but what neighborhood do you live in? What age are you in an age range? What's your sex, male or female? And I'm guessing you're gonna, your language, so that you're gonna know that you're getting enough of the Spanish population responding to this.
I'm gonna say
Okay.
this.
Thank you, Dave.
This past Monday and Tuesday, Centro Hispano had the Blueprint Cities or Communities
Yes.
meetings, right?
Yes.
Monday's meeting was English speaking.
Yes.
8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. Personally, that's a tough time for people to want to come in and speak. That's the first issue I had. The second issue I had was the Tuesday's meeting was in Spanish at 6 o'clock in the evening. Speaking about the 9th Street corridor, which includes 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And none of those businesses, none of those stakeholders, nobody knew that this meeting was taking place. And this is exactly what I'm speaking about.
Okay.
So only one merchant showed up on Tuesday, and that was because I gave them the information. And it was in English when it should have been bilingual. Okay, so that's why it's very important for us to do the outreach ourselves, because we know when we go door to door or when we help them fill out the survey, that we're doing things the right way and that we're taking the information, it's not hearsay, it's coming directly from the person's mouth.
I just have a quick question. We discussed the Alvernia involvement with the survey, maybe in our third meeting, the meeting after Tanya presented her strategic plan with her ideas. Has anyone spoken with them to see if they and their departments would be willing to support?
Yes, I did put in a phone call, so I'm looking forward to get that call back so that we can look at what they need in order to bring the survey to a conclusion. So I'm looking forward before next week that we'll have that report so that we can be able to lay this out. And if you have another college that would be interested, we can reach out not just to Alvernia. Rack, okay, then I'll make sure that we can do both. And then who knows, maybe we can be able to allow them to join us, both of the colleges. So do you have contact at Rack, Dave? Okay, then
And who's your contact at Alvernia?
Rodney Ridley,
Okay.
Dr. Ridley.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he handles the Michael Page.
Yeah.
So, and he has a number of students
Yep.
that he has access to.
Yep.
So we can just reach out to them and then be able to, and if you have the wherewithal at RAC, let's do it, and involve them. And a short period of time and they will be able to get
So-
things
So to
together.
To bring this sort of to a close, and I don't mean to jump on you, man, we should probably get back then. What demographic questions do we want to ask?
Okay.
What organizations or neighborhoods do we want to try to reach out to?
Mhm.
And what are the up to 10 questions that we want to
Okay.
have answered?
All
So we
right.
should have that back to you by early next week.
Yes, that would be good. And I agree that I didn't think our survey was going to go that deep in terms of the demographics, but if, let's do that.
I have-
Anyone else?
I have a question. When do you need the result? When do we need the results by?
I would say within the 2-3 weeks.
Because you know that November is exams time
Sure.
at the colleges and
Mhm,
vacation, holiday
mhm.
vacation time, so
Are you suggesting to take it into,
no, I'm just thinking you should be realistic about when we're gonna get the results.
so what would you say?
Well, if we weren't due to be done by February, I would say put it off till January. Put the survey off.
Or see where things stand after 2
mhm.
weeks. We get the survey out and get it done and ready to go out next week. Then give people like 2 or 3 weeks to get it to us. I know that's going to be close to Thanksgiving, but see what type of response we have by that point. If we have 100 people responding, then we know we need to do more. If we have 2,000 people responding, we know we've done pretty well.
Yes. So you're saying, let's move it out.
Yes.
And then as quickly as possible, even though the holidays are there and people are gathered together, so it may be our advantage, so that we can make it happen as soon as possible. Anybody else would like to?
I agree. I think we should get the survey out as soon as possible. And if we don't get enough results in the first couple of weeks, we try another week. But waiting until next year, I think, is a huge mistake because we've got a lot to do. And we do not know how much time it's going to take, whether it's RAC or Alvernia, to review
Prepare.
everything and come
Mhm,
up with
mhm.
totals for us and give us a summary of what's going on. So I think we've got to also keep that in mind. I agree. There are holidays, it's a season,
Sure.
but I also want to point out my personal comment. We are here as commissioners. It's our job to get it done,
Mhm.
and there should be no excuses.
And to move forward is our report that has to be done. And also our ballot questions, if we choose to have ballot questions. So those are the 3 things that we are getting ready to do. And the ballot questions has to be no later than I would say, the end of,
The ballot questions have to
the
be ready
ballot
the end of
questions has to
February,
be, I would say, let's get them ready in.
the beginning of February.
Yeah.
Because they have to
No,
go to
I
the.
would say in January.
Right.
Then all
Can
the
I ask
more
a
reason the
process
survey
question?
needs to go out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so
And this
that's a
is
lot
why
of
we
work to
should
be
amend
done. Go
to-
ahead.
A process questions. We have 6 months, right?
Not anymore.
No, we have 6 months in total
Yes.
to do this. If we get our ballot questions before council within the 6 months, then they can go on the ballot. But if we get them to them after the 6 months,
Then
then they're
they
not
go in
eligible to be on the
November.
ball. Council has to approve them. Is that
No,
right?
wait,
I
no.
think they have to go.
Let Ed,
Yeah.
speak to that.
Yeah, it's just
So-
a process question.
Mhm,
So section 1203 of the charter
mhm.
answers that question. So within 6 months of its appointment, let me start over.
Mhm.
Charter Review Commission shall review the current charter, submit a report to the city council, the mayor, and the citizens within 6 months of its appointment, and recommend any proposed amendments to the charter. Here's the key sentence. City council and the mayor by ordinance shall place all proposed amendments on the ballot no later than the next municipal election. So if you recall, I don't want to be quoted on this because it was said facetiously, but I said at a prior meeting, you could propose to abolish the position of mayor. And if you get that to city council within the 6 months, they have to put it on the ballot. If you go beyond the 6 months, if the city would agree to extend the term of this commission and you would go beyond the 6 months, you could certainly make recommendations to council, but they would not be obligated to listen to those recommendations and or to place those recommendations on the ballot. So the 6-month window is where you have the most power to cause something to happen.
Mhm.
I frankly would suggest that in your minds, you should be prepared by the end of January to have the recommendations to council, because they have to, by ordinance, direct that those be placed in the ballots. And remember, it takes 14 days. The ordinance is introduced, it sits on the table for 14 days, and then it can be enacted. So, I don't want to play like, you don't want to give council an excuse. If you give them the recommendation on the 179th day of your existence, they could say, well, we don't have enough time to enact an ordinance. So I think you should build in enough time in your mental schedule that you can get this to council and give them the time they need to adopt the ordinance to direct the Bureau or the County Board of Elections to put the question on the ballot for the next municipal election.
So let me ask you something. Shall place all proposed amendments on the ballot no later than the next municipal election. So if we don't make the cutoff for the primary election, then the next municipal election would be November.
Right.
And either way, our
Well,
questions.
I'm gonna slice that bologna a little thinner,
Okay,
because I don't know that the 2026 elections are considered municipal elections. The election on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, is a municipal election.
Mhm.
I would have to check further into the election code to see if the election cycle in 2026 is considered a municipal election. I don't offhand know if there's any municipal offices in the city on the ballot in 2026.
And make sure of that, because municipal elections are citywide elections. So not only is the positions, but it's also the fact that it is a municipal election. So that we need the clarification.
Yeah, the term municipal election, I think, is derived from how elections are referenced in the state election code.
Mhm.
So I can check that and report back next week.
Okay.
But the important point is if you want it on the ballot and you want it guaranteed on the ballot, you got to get it to city council no later than the 6 months, but I think allowing enough leeway within the 6 months to have council do what it has to do. Council has no discretion on this. I mean, if you give them a ballot question, they have to put it on the ballot, whether they like it or not.
Correct.
So if we were to get them the questions by the middle of January, as you suggested, they would have to put it on the ballot. If we got it to them after the 6-month period, they could elect to put it on the ballot. They don't have to.
That's why I would
Yeah,
suggest,
you know, we're sort of,
Hmm.
if you go past the 6
December.
months, we're in somewhat uncharted territory because, you know, section 1203 talks about a 6-month period of time for the Charter Review Commission to exist.
Mhm,
Um,
and we can't.
You know, if you go beyond the
we
6
can't
months,
determine
I
that.
don't know that you're going to have any legal status unless council would take appropriate action to recognize the Charter Review Commission as having some kind of official status after that.
So that's why I say December, by the end of December, then we'd have the leadway to tweak it as we need to and be well within our boundaries by February. Because you don't know what's going to happen, and the best thing is to be well prepared. So if we can get our ballot questions in place before the end of the year, I think we would be well established. So,
Thank you.
thanks for the discussion. Thank you, Ed. Okay. Okay, I did want us to read the informal notation, but I think you can read that on your own. As you can see, Ed did respond to, and I love this informal note, informal notes, so that it says exactly what it is. Now, as we can see, that city council, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is not here. Nor is 5, 6, 7, I'm sorry, 6, and the, excuse me, the council president did say not until after November. So as you can see, they had the letters. We've asked them to come. It was maintained that they were to respond to the roles and responsibilities of, as in the charter. And they found, I did that, Vanessa Campos said she was not responding. So we will not be able to even have them represent their districts on what's happening with their districts as per the charter. I'm hoping that by the time we are at least finished, or by the end of the year, they would want to come if we have the time to allow them to respond. They might, have some apprehension.
Just a point of clarification, Council President Reed indicated she would be able to attend on November 20th.
That's right. Yes, it is. But there was no other response.
I was going to report on this at the appropriate time, but the city auditor, Maria Rodriguez,
Okay,
indicated she could attend the meeting next week.
next week.
Do you want me to confirm that with her?
Yes, please, because she did say that as far as.
Do you want me to confirm Council President Reed for the 20th.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And what about the city clerk?
She declined.
Oh, so,
Interesting.
okay. So those people who literally declined, then we have to make a report on that.
Yep.
You know, because those are the things that, you know, it allows us to be a little concerned. Why would they not want to be a part of the charter review? You see? And maybe because they haven't done it before. And there might be some apprehension, but hopefully we'll get a chance to see what that situation may be. Okay? Okay.
Let me ask you something. Is it possible that we could send them the questions individually and have them respond back to those questions in writing? If they don't want to be interviewed, personally speaking, I don't get it. I'm still trying to wrap myself around that. I do not understand why they wouldn't want to meet with us, especially in this task.
Hmm.
They have a lot to say throughout the year, but they refuse to come here. So the next best thing would be, and I don't know if they think that this is going to be an inquisition. This has nothing to do with an inquisition. This has everything to do with your roles and responsibilities as per the charter. We're asking everyone the same questions.
Mhm.
It's not going to be this set of questions for this individual. No, everyone's going to get the same questions. So there is no inquisition. We would appreciate it, just like they want us to give input.
Mhm.
We would appreciate and participate.
Mhm. Sure.
We would appreciate if we got the same respect back. Personally, I feel very disrespected when, like, it's not important or we're not important enough for them to come here. That's the way I feel, and I'm taking it personal. As a commissioner, I take that very personal. Because one of the best things that you could do to tell your constituency, especially if you're running in an election, this is the time, this is exposure. You can answer the questions accordingly, but to refuse to do that and then wait till after the election for whatever reason, that makes no sense to me. That makes
Okay.
absolutely no sense to me.
Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to unfold it as we continue on. Is there anything else on that respect?
Yes, I have a comment.
Go ahead, please.
Sorry, can I make a suggestion about that?
Mhm.
Perhaps, I think the idea of sending them letters is a good, asking them to respond in writing is good. And maybe the thing to do would be to get on the agenda for the next committee of the whole meeting and individually deliver letters to them.
I like that.
I like that.
I like
idea.
that, Ann.
But I also have a comment, and I think that our questions for those sitting members we should give them a set of those questions in advance, so there are
Okay.
no surprises and there would be nothing
Yeah.
that would cause anxiety for
Sure.
coming. I also feel that if I were in their shoes, I would prefer that, because that way, when I understand with more clarity where the questions are, I'd be inclined to bring a lot more documentation and show and tell, so to speak, especially for commissioners like me who probably don't know some of the things that they do. I would also love to see a job description outside of what's in the law.
Okay. Well, let us look at that as a motion. How would you frame that motion?
I would move that we share with members of council the questions that we have devised.
Okay.
I
and
second
ask
that
them
motion.
if
Now
they
wait,
would-
let him finish.
Too excited.
Go
and
ahead.
ask them if they would respond in writing to us
Okay.
anonymously if they care,
Mhm.
if they choose.
Okay.
Is-
Well,
Can I add to that motion?
hold on.
You need a second.
No, wait, no,
I'll
wait. That he
second.
made a motion.
Yeah.
No, wait.
I'm also doubling as recording secretary here, so you, your motion is to share the interview questions with members of council.
Right. And ask them to respond in writing anonymously if they choose to us.
Okay.
And I second that.
Okay.
I don't,
Is there a discussion?
there is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with anonymous.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Personally speaking, you are a council person.
Of a district.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what are you so afraid of? The only reason you would be afraid of is if you're not doing things right. But if you're confident and you're doing things right to the best of your ability, there really is no reason for you not to put your name on that.
Point of order, I think they might need to have the name attached to them, if I think so procedurally, because we're asking them official questions via an official manner. So they would have to respond as a public person, I believe. I could be wrong.
So do we have, okay, we have a motion on the floor
Okay,
and it was a discussion. Is there someone,
I think that we should give them a time frame
okay,
to respond by the 20th of November or the 25th of November.
okay, let's do that.
Before the holiday,
Okay.
and tell them that we appreciate their work.
And
I
I'm
Would
willing
you-
to
agree
would
remove
you
the
like-
anonymous Suggestion, they can come back to us and say they're not going to give us their name.
No,
So-
wait. I would like for you to amend your motion.
Just proposed amending my motion to take out the anonymous.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay.
Okay,
Any-
can I add something else to it? That we should decide whether the letters should be hard copy, old-fashioned paper, or if they should be email.
How about both?
It could be both.
Mhm. Both? Okay, now can you
So
amend
My amended
your,
motion.
okay,
second.
Second, the amended motion.
okay,
Are you including in the amended motion a response date?
yes.
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 And that would be what?
November 20th.
Could it be
'Cause
one
we're-
week after we give them the questionnaire?
I can't hear.
1 week after the questionnaire,
1 week to complete it? Do you think you need more?
1 week? All right, okay. 1 week? Okay. Anyone else?
Now,
Wait, hold on. Anyone else? Okay, go ahead, Sheila.
are those questions, I'm assuming we're also interviewing, because we did discuss
Yes,
the
we are.
mayor,
Yes, we are.
the city manager,
Yes.
right?
Those who will come.
The
yes.
auditor,
Mhm,
correct?
Yes.
And the same would go for them.
Mhm.
If they didn't want to show up for the interview, then we would extend them that courtesy
Sure.
for them to respond in the same manner.
And
So-
also, if we, okay, so I'm liking what you're saying, that they all have equal opportunity to respond.
Mhm.
If they show up, they can even take their questions and bring it back, to send it back. Because they might need time to process it. So let's do that. Let's make sure that those that come, we make sure that if there's an afterthought, that they would be able to take the questionnaires. And those that do not want to come, to be able to respond in that way. At least we will have their input, okay? And that might be a more softer approach.
Are we still in
Okay.
discussion?
Yes, we are.
Okay, are we going to send the exact same questions to the auditor and the city? Okay, so are we gonna work on those after we're done with this,
Yeah.
the voting on this? Okay.
Yes. The other thing too is, oh, you just made me think of something. I'll get back to it. But, yeah, the auditor said she was coming. And so did, when I spoke with Gumbach, he was coming and he said the mayor was coming. So let's see what happens, okay?
That's really nice.
Okay, so,
And-
okay, so we have a motion on the floor. We had the second and we had the discussion.
I
Is there
have a
any,
que- I have a
yes,
question.
Ann?
Are we going to send letters to the other people, the mayor, the auditor, the general So whether they, to make it easier for them to answer in writing than in
You mean
person?
before they come?
I don't,
I think it
honestly,
would be good.
I don't feel like we have a lot of time to sit down with all these people.
Mhm.
If we have to be done by February, I think getting their answers in writing would be more time efficient. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Well, that's good.
So if I could, in terms of the people who are not on council, we should go through the questions and see if there's still the appropriate questions to ask the mayor and the
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah,
And
and
if
see
not,
if,
make changes to it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
if they'd like to, you know,
I know that it might be efficient, but I really would like them to come and present so that they have an interaction with us as well,
but,
you
but
know?
what are we gonna
And we
do if
can
they,
do that.
are we gonna send them the questions before we interview them?
Yes, we can all send, make the questions available. So if they choose to come, they at least have a guideline.
And if they don't come?
Yes.
I think it's important also to not lose sight that when they do not present themselves here, any constituents who, once we do the survey, hopefully are going to be very tied in to watching this meeting. These are the people that voted for them. So I think that is something that I don't know if we can put a pre-statement of reminding them why this might be important to them for other reasons, not just the questions that we have,
Mhm.
but so that their voice and their reach is touching the people who are going to be showing up at the ballot box.
And also,
And
I
if
would
they
like
decide-
for us, I'm shifting something, but while I'm thinking, to put on the oath of the city, when they come into, the
The what?
oath of service.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The oath. We need to review the oath as well, because
The
that's a
oath of
very
what?
important
The oath
part
of what?
of service. When they come, they take an oath when they become a city council, mayor, or,
Take it again?
no.
No.
Can you hear me? Am I being, can you hear me, Ann?
Yeah, now I can.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, maybe I didn't. What I'm saying is that, no, we want to review the oath. We want to review that. I just wanted to put it out there that on the next meeting, we get a chance to review the oath that they,
Nothing to do with the charter.
but it does. Yes,
No,
it
it doesn't.
does. Because the charter is the document that governs the city
I know
and
that.
those people. I would just like us to review the oath, if you don't
I have a
mind.
question.
All right, yeah.
If this is done before in 2019, when you guys wasn't involved, 2013, you guys did the interview to the city council.
No, we did not. We didn't do the interview, but every commission is different.
Mhm.
So every commission takes on the role that they wish to take. Their task is still the same, review the charter, interview the people, have the public hearings, bring in the data, incorporate the
Surveys.
data, the
Mhm.
surveys. Based on the surveys, that affects the ballot questions that we want to propose. That's the
Mhm.
way it should be. So these survey questions that we're asking need to be tied in or incorporated into the home rule charter. Because the reason we're having these surveys is not just to find out, how they feel, but based on the responses, not to say how they feel, based on the responses, how those responses correlate with the home rule charter and what can we do, what can we propose to be able to factor in a referendum question to help give them the
Engagement.
outcome that they're looking for, and then put that on the ballot so that the constituency can vote whether they want to or not.
Yeah, we still have a vote. I mean, we still have a motion on the floor and a
Before-
second, and we had a discussion. Is there any other discussion?
Yes. Are we also going to include the city clerk in those questions?
What does anyone say?
Yes. Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Yes, it is. Uh-huh. Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, so can we have the vote?
So now that includes everyone.
Let me
Backtrack.
restate the motion so that it's clear on what you're voting on. So Mr. Myers moved that the commission would share the interview questions that have been prepared with members of council, and that they would be asked to respond to those questions in writing within 1 week.
Mhm.
And Ms. Bradford seconded that motion.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, we're ready for the vote?
But that's not just for council, that's for everybody.
Right now the motion is just for council, and that's why I asked,
Yes.
that's why I restated it, because if you're gonna share interview questions with others, you would take a separate
Okay,
vote.
That's right.
okay.
Don't have a set of questions for anybody else.
Include the city clerk in the, with the city? With the
Yeah, but you don't,
council?
as Mr. Meyer said, you have a very well-prepared list of questions for city council members. You don't have questions prepared yet for the other officers, managing director, mayor, city clerk, auditor, city solicitor, anybody else
Yeah.
within the city.
Okay. HR. Okay.
Call the question.
Call for the question. Go ahead. I call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those who are opposed? Is there opposed? Okay, then it's unanimous.
That we all come back with questions we want to ask those other people
Mhm.
and try to begin to compile that in the same way that we compile the questions for
And
council.
it should be easier. Thank you. Yep. Okay, so for our next agenda, we're going to deal with the other questions for the auditor, for city clerk, for the mayor, for the managing director. So tie your questions in, and I'm not saying don't make them long, but I am saying don't make them long. Just make sure that they are able to be within the roles and responsibilities, okay? All right, good. Anything else at this point?
Item, I don't know that we, since there was no meeting in the 16th or the 23rd, we have not approved the minutes of the 9th.
Oh,
That might be a
yes.
housekeeping item that's like kind of
Yeah, we
hanging
have a-
around.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
forgotten. We're gonna get,
Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now that we have a quorum.
technically in the agenda, we're still under chair remarks, so.
Okay. Let us quick review the minutes for October 9th. And also, oh no, we don't have to review the former, the informal notes, but let us then review the 9th of October 2020. Okay, and if I can get a motion. All right, now, it was moved and second, if there's a, okay, everybody's good? Yeah. All right, let's call, okay, yeah. Yeah,
Thank you.
and let's call for the vote. Those in favor say aye. Those who are opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. And so we,
Can I make a suggestion that, although they're not meeting minutes, and I'm not asking or suggesting that they be approved as meeting minutes,
Mhm.
I think it might be appropriate to have a motion to at least post on the city website
yeah,
the informal notes from October 16 and October 23rd.
okay. May I have a motion to review or to have the notes from October 16th, 2025, and October 23rd, 2025, to be added on the, it's not a minute, it's not minutes, but added as documentation.
I made a motion.
Thank you. And is there a second?
I second.
Okay, let us call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Who said nay?
Me,
Okay, Tanya said nay. Okay,
just one, doesn't have to be unanimous.
that's okay. That's all right.
Just one, doesn't have to
That's
be
all right.
unanimous.
It doesn't,
Right, I just wanted.
Okay.
and I'm cool with that.
Okay,
As we
all
all
right.
should. I just want it in writing.
That's okay. Very good.
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
so we're there. Okay. Okay.
Ed, is it
Yeah.
possible that you can get us a copy or a job description for the city clerk? I've tried, and for whatever reason, they keep avoiding it. So,
I'll try to find out.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, so then we are, the overview, Charter Review Commission purpose and scope, and the further consideration of the strategic plan, prepared by Tanya. Tanya, anything on that? Okay.
And you should all have a live copy of it, but I can resend it if anybody wants it.
Mhm,
I
very
just
good.
updated the locations of the meetings because today was documented as pen room and
Mhm,
so I just updated that.
yeah.
Nothing else has changed until things change, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and then now,
Can I just, Sheila? Reading Code 5-601. 5-601, duties of city clerk. 601. That is the job, that is the duties. That's the
Yes.
public information of the city clerk.
But somebody told me that
mhm, there is a job description.
there is a job description, an actual one. Like, yes, it's here, but there's other stuff that she does that's not within here. So that's why I want to see her roles and responsibilities. And for whatever reason, they don't want to give it to me.
Well, let's see what Ed can do.
Of the
Okay, thank you, Ed.
KPIs.
Okay,
Thank you.
now, we're still at the approval for the letter, city council mayor, for city council and mayor, and then to review, to look at the extension of time. That was the letter that Adela Rodriguez had prepared, and we looked at it. And now, what is your pleasure here? What is your pleasure? We said we were going to wait for a little bit to, and then issue the letter. Okay. So we did have a full discussion about that. And so is there anything that you want to do in terms of, mm-hmm,
I thought the way, didn't Dave, Adela wrote it, I thought we did additions, we revamped it.
No, what happened was Adela read the contents of the letter at a prior meeting, several meetings ago. There were some comments made and she was going to revise the letter consistent with those comments.
Mhm, and she did.
Instead, she decided to resign.
Yes,
um,
but she did revise the letter.
I haven't seen a revised letter. And then
Okay.
the only other thing was Ms. Sheehan had suggested waiting until at least till the end of October
Mhm,
to see where you were in the process
mhm.
before you would issue the letter. So that's what I recall.
Okay, so on the next agenda, let's put the letter on there to make a decision as to where it goes. Okay, and I really think that it's worthy enough with all the additions and send it to city council. All right. And then we are still at the point where we have not hired an interpreter for service for the commission. Is there anything you want to do at this point? Yay, nay?
Hire a,
It was the hiring interpretive services for the commission meeting.
Has a budget been approved? Monies other than the original, what was it, like 700 or?
7,000?
$7,000.
You have authority of $7,000.
Mhm.
So then I think the next step logically would be to offer up a budget. So we can look at it and then decide how much of it goes to a secretary and how much is gonna be for copies and how much of it is going to be for open meetings and then printing of the documents and all those things.
Because, well,
So-
one of the things, like if we wanted to get the survey questions to Benai, that's where we're gonna spend money,
Mhm,
is
mhm.
making the copies of the survey questions and being
Or
able.
emailing them out. that's not a-
Emailing is one function, but not
Mhm.
everybody is
Yeah. Mhm.
email savvy.
Savvy. Mhm.
Do we
So,
know if there's a cost from Alvernia or RAC, maybe not RAC just yet, for the assistance that they're going to provide as we
won't
tally
know.
the surveys?
We won't know.
Okay.
So
Alvernia
when-
has a
when we
cost.
do-
I have used their program for plenty of things. It is not a high cost, but they do have a cost of services.
I'm sorry, Tanya,
Mm-hmm.
can you start all over?
Alvernia does have a cost. If you're talking about the Holleran Center, which is usually the ones that help out nonprofits and other community activities by providing services, but
Are
they
you
do have a
referring-
cost.
Are you referring to the tally for the surveys?
Any services that we ask,
Okay.
do
you know
the
what those
Holleran
rates are?
Center, they assign either a fellow or if there's a class available that hasn't already taken on a project, then they assign a class. But the classes that get assigned are within their schedule. So it
That's
will-
all fine and well, but do you know what the rates are?
No.
we-
Okay.
Excuse me, let's wait to meet with Ridley because he handles all of that.
Yeah, my main
Okay,
point is
and
just to
I'll be
ask
able-
that that question be
Yeah,
vetted so we know.
If there's a cost, or is it going to be a project for the students? But we'll know as soon as we hear back from him. And what I'll do is, perhaps I might see him tomorrow. Okay, go in his office and see if I can get him in his office.
The other,
He has
the
a good
other
time.
comment I have is for Sheila, and I'm not sure we've moved anywhere, but you mentioned speaking with agencies for quotes. Have you been able to retrieve any
for
quotes?
quotes?
For quotes on the Spanish translation?
No,
for-
but with your permission, I can do that. I can move on that this week.
Do we need to vote on that?
Not yet. Okay, let her bring back, and then we can decide. Okay. Okay, and if there's no other questions, anybody else? Then the hiring of the secretary, the recording secretary or translator, are we willing to do anything there?
I think I jumped the gun
Okay.
and talked
That's
about
all
that.
right.
My bad. Excuse my being out of order.
Mhm. Yay or nay? If we can have a consensus, do we want to continue to table that or not?
Sheila is going to look for quotes on services. We talked about it at previous meetings, but she hasn't had an opportunity. I don't want to speak for her, but she just made a comment that she would be looking into getting quotes for that over this next week.
Okay. That should be on the agenda as well. Okay. Okay, so now we're at the meeting schedule. And as you can see, November the 6th, we're in council chambers again. And then November the 13th is in the Penn Room. Now that's what we found out or what we know. But well, we'll follow that. But November the 20th, 2025, council chambers again, and then also for the 27th, and there's no meeting. That is the holiday. Okay. Okay, so to review, we're looking at the interview questions to be sent to city council members. Okay, and so, Ed, are you going to be able to do that?
I can certainly do it, but I will ask for clarification on the list.
Okay,
There have been
multiple.
multiple iterations of the list. Do we have a final agreed list?
You need to ask the interviewer. Mr. Spotlight.
I mean, I think I know in my mind what should be the final list, but there's been a lot of talk about lists, so I,
Yeah, I can share that if you want, with
Okay,
you or with the entire group and give people tomorrow night, part of
please.
trick or treat, to give you a treat or a trick.
Okay.
well, if you send me the list, then I will put the package together for all the council members and coordinate getting them distributed.
Okay. Okay, so, yes, for city council,
Right,
yes. Mhm.
okay.
Okay, and that covers our scheduling the interviews. If we now look at the mayor, everybody's gonna get the questions. So the most important thing is the managing director, the mayor. That should be the next list of questions, right? There's no one, okay,
What I thought I heard earlier was that everybody was supposed to submit proposed questions for the other
Right.
offices under the city charter
Mhm.
mhm.
by the time of next week's meeting, right?
Yes, that's right. Mhm. Okay.
Do we submit them to you?
Questions should be written by the group, not by me.
No, she's asking, do we submit them? Please submit them to me, and then I will consult with Ed, and he will then send them out in a short period of time, right, Ed? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, the preparation for this survey. Look it over. That's part of our list for our agenda for next week. We should be ready to go with them. And then your distribution, where do you want the distribute it to be? Where is it going to be distributed? Okay, and that list can be many, okay? As long as we have an opportunity to follow through, all right? And the grassroots people or the citizens are the most important thing, okay? Or let me just say, those organizations that will get out the surveys, okay? And there's quite a number of those organizations that will get out the survey, okay? Mhm.
That would be ideal, an ideal place to be able to get
Mhm. That's
some
part,
surveys
yeah.
accomplished.
That's part of our, everyone has an opportunity,
Absolutely.
all right, for the. Okay, I mean, we do have a public comment afterwards, okay. All right, then. Survey. So Ed, what do you have for the list for next week on the agenda?
Okay, so, you suggested that everybody come next week prepared to put together the survey.
Mhm.
And everybody this week is to submit proposed questions to the other officers and positions within the city other than council.
Mhm.
And that you would, along with me, collate those, and I guess they will be presented for review next Thursday.
Mhm. Survey questions, and then the only thing, let us start the scheduling, not scheduling, but talking about the public hearings. Because I think once we establish the public survey, then we need to follow up with the public hearings. And we're in the chamber on November the 6th. So I would say November the 20th. November 20th? November 20th?
For the target for the first public hearing?
Mhm.
If I get it confirmed, that was the date that Council President Reed had indicated.
Yeah, she did say after.
And
did
city
she say
auditor as
after
well,
the
I think.
20th Or by the 20th?
No, she's,
The 20th.
the communication I had in response to the letter was that she would be available on the 20th. My communication with the city auditor was that Maria could be here next
Next
Thursday.
Thursday.
And I
Mhm.
heard earlier that you guys are okay with that.
Mhm.
Councilman Butler indicated that he would appear, but there were nothing definite schedule-wise. I, can follow up with him on that.
Okay. All right, so then we'll have the interview, but I think we need to also, that interview should take more than maybe 20 minutes.
I don't know. I think November 20th is too soon. I think maybe we should plan on maybe like the first week of December to begin to do the public hearings. That's just me personally.
I agree. And I agree because I think we need to not only just publish it on the city website, we need to try to get that communication out in as many mediums as we can, but we also need to target what we will be discussing. This is not a city council open, come in. We want to hear what they have to say, of course we do, but it's got to be about the charter. So I think the conversation needs to be something similar to, hey, do you know the charter? Here's where you can find it in the city. We're looking for your opinion on it and how it works or doesn't work for the city. But we need to phrase it as in, we will be taking public comment on the charter itself and how it works or doesn't work. Because if we don't pinpoint what the topics of
Then it can be just a
conversation,
random
it could just
conversation.
be, it's a waste of time, in my opinion. That's just.
I agree with what you're saying, but we do have to keep space that it may end up being that anyway. I mean, we'll try not to.
But we got to control that.
I like the sense of
Sorry.
control. But at the same time, if it's public hearing, I believe that we need to make room for whatever the public wants to say in that
No.
3 minutes.
Nope.
Or that,
I totally disagree with you. But that's not why I raised my hand. I raised my hand to suggest that we work with city council and ask the district council, our district representatives to find space somewhere, public space in each of their districts and have public hearings there,
I agree.
besides having a public hearing here. I disagree. I think that public comments can go on for hours and be totally irrelevant to what we're talking about. I think we need to make it very clear that public comments will be accepted on residents, citizens, whatever you want to call them, thoughts on the charter, reminding them that that it is the Constitution of the city of Reading.
We can always,
I don't agree that we should ask them what doesn't work.
right,
I think we should keep it positive. I really
Right.
do. I think, this city has such a negative impact, negative view of itself. I think we need to keep it positive. We want to hear from you about what you think, how familiar are you with the city of Reading's charter? And how's it working for you?
that's fair.
How can we make it better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that I understand your point on wanting to let people talk, but it has to be germane to the charter itself.
It's not-
Nothing else. We can always tell people they can always contact their council members via email and have the email address available. So if somebody, but I really want to let them know, well, here's their contact information. Get it, we can have that available to let people talk to their council people or the mayor or whomever.
Or
But
they can go to the city council
But, or
meetings.
they can go to city council meetings, but when it comes to our conversation and our job, it's strictly about the charter itself, not even the people doing the job that's on here. It's the charter itself.
Yeah, it.
That's our job.
We don't have time for other stuff, in my opinion.
My comment is I agree with what you are saying, but I will never agree with treating the public with disrespect. So while we can try to set the tone and we can try to set the context, we are going to have a way, a method, a process of communicating politely and with respect.
No.
I'm not
Because I
everybody
do,
was
can I
saying-
finish what I'm
I'm
saying?
talking
Let her
about
May I
finish.
finish? Because this is exactly what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in this room, when emotions get a little hot, there's not enough control. And I don't want the public to see us in person responding that way. So finding the right context to share with whoever may be at the podium, whether it's handing them the card of the city council member that they should really speak with, or anything else we can try to prepare in advance to try to handle that with respect and professionalism. My only comment.
I,
Okay.
yeah, I agree with you. I'm not disrespecting anybody. I hope I don't come across as that. But I think it's really important because of the limited time that we have. And because I have been at many council meetings and I know how I've been at many meetings where topics are particular and people go off. And that's no disrespect to the people. It's just, that's the way, it's human nature.
It's human nature and it's also systematic. So, and I appreciate that you don't personally want to be rude to anyone, and I do see that in you as a person. But when we talk each other, it's rude whether you intend it to be or not. I do agree that public comments can get out of control. And so having processes to manage that is
Mhm.
helpful because the person who takes the podium with a great deal of emotion, has been through something, and they are a citizen of this city. And if we appear to be the place where I can share what's going on with me and get answers, that's the human nature. But our reaction can be at a higher level. That is my only comment.
In preparation for these hearings, the first week of December, that gives the public a couple of months, like 1 month, to actually go in to the charter in their language or in English or Spanish. Right now, I just pulled up the charter in Spanish, and it's about educating people. So they can't give comment on the charter if they don't know what the charter is, right? Now, that's the first issue.
I'm sorry, may I ask, are you saying that the Spanish version of the charter
I
is
just,
not the same as this?
the Spanish version is, but it's in English. That's in English.
No, I'm,
This is-
you're saying the Spanish, let me get clarity. Are you saying that the Spanish version of the charter isn't the charter, it's about education?
The Spanish version, right now, our people don't know, English-speaking people don't know what the charter is. Spanish-speaking people don't even know what the charter is. But it gives us a month if we tell them, get ready for the public hearing, give them the link, and they can go in there. And then if we want to make recommendations, because the charter is huge, well, not huge, but in terms of discussion, we don't want to be there all night. So do we reference certain sections of the charter for them to review and comment on? Do we propose certain sections just to get them interested enough that they're gonna wanna do their own reading and then come back? I mean, because we won't get anything, we won't get as many people to participate without that knowledge.
The charter in Spanish is not approved.
I think it
Yeah,
depends
but
on how
it's not approved, but here, under the library, you can bring it up in Spanish. It's not, it's approved, it's not legally certified. And so because it's approved and not legally certified, it's still, it's a good reference point. So people can look at it, because I'm going through it right now, and I'm seeing presupuestos revisados, talking about the budgets.
Let's,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. Go ahead.
I
Tanya.
think we're all saying the same thing in different versions. We all agree that people need to be told. And when I said to limit it, I didn't mean to like only talk about this section.
Yeah.
I meant that the introduction, when we put the information out about these meetings, the introduction should be something similar to, the charter is a document that rules our city. Have you seen it? Not here's the place where you can find it, or your public library, because they should have a copy at every library. If you want to read one, they have them at the public library. And then here's where we're having the meetings. I'm not saying like we need to tell them what sections to talk about, just we're going to talk about the charter. So if you know about it and you want to talk to us, great, come on down. But if you don't know what it is, here's how to find it.
Mhm.
And then we can use words to talk about like library or downloaded or translations or whatever, but just the limit has to be, we're going to talk about this, period. That's what I meant when I meant to limit.
I would be happy to work on a flyer. If you think that would be useful.
It is.
And perhaps Sheila or somebody, you could translate it, and we could get it around town. And also, I think it would be important, even though nobody reads the Reading Eagle anymore, they say, I think it would be important to put an ad in the Eagle and on Spotlight PA.
Maybe as well as a flyer, we do a press release.
Yeah.
Yes.
That way it's, It's the way of getting it out as many people as
Yep.
possible. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Tanya, I didn't hear any of that. Could you repeat?
That instead of just a flyer, if she could write a press release, that way it would get a little bit more traction.
Agreed.
So
So now we're talking about the distribution of how we're going to do that. There's a number of things that can be done. And so that's the list that needs to be set up so that we can have it as many places as possible. Because every college has their media, the Facebook, YouTube, all those things that are social media, social media. So we need to look at that and get ready to do that. So how would you want to do that?
I said I'll do a press release and I'll do a flyer.
Okay, okay,
but
press
here's
release,
something.
flyer,
I'm sorry?
press release.
And a flyer.
And a
But
flyer.
here's something. We need to pin down the council representatives about when and where we can have meetings. That's the first thing.
Now, the thing that I like that we need to look at that is it going to be public? Are they going to be able to have the wherewithal that it can be public? We have to consider that.
May I make a comment? I'm sort of tagging on something I heard Sheila say, but aren't the representatives holding town halls with their constituents anyway? And if they are, that would be,
Well, we just need to know if they are going to be televised. Are they going to be the education? But most of them are not. That's where I've been, they're not able to utilize a social media.
I
So,
don't think they,
It's just a matter of us setting up a Facebook page with your camera and televising it. It goes right on
Yeah.
Facebook and then people could share it and people, I mean, that's an easy way to do it.
or we could utilize the media from the city so that he can come and take the pictures, put them on the website as well. So there's a number of things that can happen so that we can get a nice range of thing. But Ann said she's going to handle a draft of the press release and also the flyer.
but here's the thing.
Go
We
ahead.
need dates and we need places before we can do any of that.
That's exactly right.
So that's the first thing. Yeah,
We can start with the one
the
here.
one here, yeah.
And then as we get to talking to the counselors, then we can just do a little update on that same press release, if that's okay with everybody else.
So if we're gonna look at the beginning of December, are we gonna stay with Thursdays? Right? Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know if that's gonna work with Thursday. And if we don't know if it's gonna work, because we don't know what the venues are going.
But
Well, we
here's-
can
have
deal
to
with
be
that. We can
flexible.
deal with that.
Here's,
Mhm.
yeah, and
Mhm.
here's the other thing, a lot of groups around the city have regular meetings, like College Heights has a meeting every month. Center Park has a meeting, I don't know how often, 18th Ward.
We don't, but we can hold one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are, I think, yeah, okay, so there are places that are natural environments for people to gather. And so all we need to do is find the dates, find the places, and find the council people.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Okay, okay. And then are we going to be able to publicize it?
Yes,
Okay, very good.
yeah,
All right, now,
7:30.
how are we going to process this? What do you want to do in terms of bringing this together if we're going to deal with the next meeting? Do you want everything to be on the next meeting, which is going to be the survey? It's going to be the questions for the auditor. It's going to be the solicitor. It's going to be the public meeting, looking at the public hearings, the first thing. How do you want to do that?
Solicitor and all the other people should have a generic set of questions. It shouldn't be individual to each one.
That's what you're coming together.
I understand,
So,
but instead
yeah.
of,
Mhm,
if we decide on 4 or 5 questions that
mhm.
are specific to the charter and
There
how
you
they,
go. Mhm.
it should be, yeah, but we should be able to come up with the same set of questions for all of those
Yeah.
positions without having to individualize them.
Okay.
Position.
Positions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, positions.
Okay, good, good. All right, so the work begins, the urgency is now. The urgency is now that we get everything together. Okay.
So are you going to contact city council representatives or do you want me to contact them about
Ed has
public
been our
meetings?
contact,
Okay,
so if you want
So
to
you'll
get
be
with Ed on that.
okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know we're on that part and we're getting ready to go into public comment. But before we do that, we haven't
7:45.
spoken, I'm sorry, since we started, this is it. We're supposed to have 11 members. And this is it.
Mm-hmm,
So what are we gonna do about that?
mm-hmm,
You know, there are a lot of people that like to talk on email, but they're not even here.
mm-hmm.
So
That's
we-
true. I have more emails from one of the members and I've seen him present in the meetings, but I get his emails.
We'd love to have our people here. And if those people that were chosen want to come back and start acting, hey, that's great, come on, but be committed. And if you're not
we
gonna be-
started the meeting today asking that very question.
I'm sorry, okay.
But
Yeah,
I,
because it's only, it's like we're getting ready.
Gonna be following up. I think Tanya said she was gonna be following up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 11 of us, it's a lot more people out there in the field that can really, like, if with 11 of us, our goal is what? I can't do 1,000 by myself, okay? But our goal, they wanted to be 10,000, but if I could do 100 and everybody else can do 100, and I'm only going by what I can do on my own, circulating nomination petition. I could easily on my own get 450 signatures, no problem. We did it for the term limits on our own. Evelyn and I carried 1,800 signatures between Evelyn and I. So we can do this, but it would be a lot better if we can share the work so that it's more effective. I don't know the same people that Tanya knows, the same people that Ann knows, and vice versa. So we're gonna get different perspectives.
Mhm.
It'll be a very
As long as it's
diverse.
grassroots, I would
I'm
like
not able to
just
walk half of the
grassroots.
block.
Mhm.
So,
And I said, well, you set it up another way.
okay.
So you can do it. at
Please,
church,
is there,
You know, like that.
yes, and then I'm going to ask for public comment.
I would like to discuss parking next week at our meeting
Okay,
for us, because some of you know, I received a parking ticket last week, and while I don't mind donating my time and my talent, I do have a problem with that.
okay. I recommended, and I want to see if you guys agree, that submit that so that you can have a reimbursement, but do it through
Oh.
Ed so that it won't be the treasurer doing that, okay?
Thank you,
But
Ed. Is that
if
okay?
you
Like, is that
have
okay?
anything
For the
like
ticket?
that,
For the ticket?
okay?
Oh, so we discussed it?
Yeah.
Are we gonna get some, because I said we should have a little sign that says,
Evelyn said she was gonna talk to somebody about the park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really important.
because it's just a little
So,
pass that says
mhm.
Home Rule Charter Review Commission, and we can park here then, and we
Mhm.
don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But I'm walking on pins and needles because they chalk your car. You know, they do everything to
Okay.
I'm
give you
sorry,
a
they do
ticket.
what?
They
I'll,
chalk your
I'll,
car.
I'll talk with, I'll talk with the head of parking. And then that way we'll see how we can make it happen. Public,
Rested over
I'm sorry.
Public
Oh,
comment.
okay. Is there public comment? Anyone would like to? Okay, if there's no public comment, then I'm gonna ask for so we can adjourn our meeting.
I make a
Motion to
motion
adjourn.
that
Yes,
I
motion to
second.
adjourn, second, don't need it. But make sure that this is where we hit the ground running, because we have a lot to do in the next week, okay? Please do,